So hope my screen is visible to everyone. Yeah, great. So in the last class, we were covering about the operators. So now, yes, my Visual Studio is working. So I've got a new laptop today. So one thing I wanted to make tell you guys is that the look and feel of Visual Studio in will be different from Windows. Okay. So the Visual Studio you will be downloading and installing in Windows will have certain different things, some more feature as compared to Mac, because the full-fledged version of Visual Studio is available for Windows. A Mac has certain limitation, but that's fine for a testing point of view, for learning Selenium, and in real-time project as well. You'll be able to use the Visual Studio in Mac without any issue. This is sufficient for automation. That will not be a problem for you. Okay, clear? So in the last class, so we covered the arithmetic operators, relational operators, equality operators, and the unary operator. Any doubts in this? Anybody have any doubt? Anyone have any doubts? No? Clear? Okay, great. So today we'll talk about, first of all, we'll talk about the conditional operators. Okay. Conditional operators. Now we have two different conditional operators available. Okay. The first is the AND operator. The second one is the OR operator. These are very important operators which will be hugely used during the automation stuff. So this has to be clear. Okay, conditional OR and conditional AND. Okay, so I'll show you the example. Okay, just a minute. So let's say I'll take one variable here. Sorry. Shall I increase the font size? Now the things are clear, right? The font is visible to everyone?
Yes.
Yeah, great. So what I'll do, I'll create simple two variables. I'll say int, let's say I is equal to 10. Then I'll say int j is equal to, let's say, 20. And I will say console dot write line. I will say okay, I'll comment out this first, I and j. Now, before moving into and getting the output, what exactly will be the output of this particular statement? Let's understand the functionality of and the OR operator, conditional and conditional OR. So basically, conditional operators these are binary operators. Okay, simple. These are binary operators. Now, the logic conditional and okay, if both okay, let me make a truth table. That will be better. Okay, so I'll make a truth table. Let's say I have operand A, operand B, and then I have A and B, and I have A or A. Okay, now let's say the A is true, B is true. I'll give some more space here. what can be the next combination? A can be true, B can be false. B can be false. What can be the next combination? A can be false, B can be true. And the next combination possible is false and false, isn't it? Yeah. So tell me, what will be the output in first case? If both A and B are true, what will be A and B? A and B will be true, isn't it? What will be A or B? A or B? What will be A or B? Again, true. In second combination, A and B, what will be the output of A and B here? True and false. What will be the output quickly, guys? True and false. It's and, it's not or. So it will be false. Okay. And what will be the output of A or B? True or false. What will be the output? True. In this case, false and true. What will be the output? False and true. False and true. It will be false only. If any of the operand is false, and operator will give you false always, isn't it? What will be the output here? False or true. This time it will be true because of the or operator. What will be the output here? False and false. Is that clear? Clear? Anybody have any doubt? This is very simple, basic thing. Okay. Now come back to the question. Now tell me, if I uncomment this line number 12 and if I run this program, what will be the output? I and J. I and J. What will be the output? True or false? If I uncomment this statement line number 12 and if I run this program, what will be the output, guys? True or false? Quickly, guys, someone, can you give me an answer? Anyone? Why nobody is replying? Guys, am I audible?
Yes, yes.
So Abhishek is saying true. One more true answer. What about others? True. Okay, let's see. If I uncomment it, if I save my program, I'm getting a compile time error. The moment I uncomment and I saved it, I'm getting a compile time error. Why? Let's check what's the error here. Okay, let's check. It says operator and cannot be applied on operands of type int and int. Is it clear? What is the name of this operator? What is the name of this operator, guys? It's conditional operator, isn't it? It's a conditional operator. It requires condition. It requires Boolean operand. Remember one thing, the conditional operator can only accept Boolean operand. You can use conditional operator, either you are using and or you are using the or operator. You can use and or operator only with Boolean operand. Is that clear? Is that clear? That's why the truth table does not contain int or anything else. It just contains true and false, which means the and operator and the or operator works only with either true or false. Is that clear? Clear, guys? So this is an incorrect statement. You can never use anything apart from Boolean values or Boolean operands with the conditional operators. It has to be clear in the mind. So this is not applicable. You cannot use it. So I'll make one more statement. Now tell me the output of this. I'll say I less than j and j greater than I. Now tell me the output of this line number 12. What will be the output of line number 12? True or false? So Krish is saying true. Anybody else have any other answer to this? Attempt it, attempt. It's very important to attempt in the class. Believe me, this will be a huge difference. If you don't attempt in the class, you will get confused during the revision. Okay, so let's check it. I will run this program and I will see what is the output. So we are getting true here. Can you see the output? What is the output here? True. Now why true is coming? Very simple. First of all, you have an AND operator, but then you have some brackets as well, innermost bracket. So the innermost bracket will get executed first. So what will be the output of this I less than j? Is I less than j? Yes, it is. So the output of this expression will be true. So it will be true. Then what will be the output of this expression? You are asking if j is greater than I. Yes, it is. So again, the output is going to be true. And then this conditional operation will happen, which means you are checking here true and true. So when both the operands are true, the AND operator will give you true. And that's why the output is going to true only. Is that clear, guys? Clear? I think this is very simple, isn't it? Now tell me the output. Now tell me the output. Quickly, this is very simple thing. Now tell me the output. What will be the output this time? False? Krish, I am so happy that you are attempting everything. And that is very important. Okay. It's very important to attempt. So you are getting false. Very simple. Why we are getting false? Because this will give you true, but this, when you are trying to check if j is less than I, this expression will give you false. Why? Because the value of j is bigger than I. So the second expression will give you false. So one of the operand will be true, second operand will be false. True and false means false. So that's why you will get false as the output. Is that clear? Clear, guys? Okay. Now, if I change it to OR operator, can you tell me now? Can you tell me now? This time it is going to be true, isn't it? This time it will be true. Yeah. Why? Because now you are using OR operator. Now in this case, this first expression will give you true. The second expression will give you false. This makes this expression as true or false as per the truth table. True or false will give you true. That's why you are getting this output. Clear? Any doubt? Anybody have any doubt? Clear, guys? Why only 9 people are there today? Am I not teaching properly? Anyway, that's fine. So this is one thing. One last thing. This is last thing. Now tell me the output. Check it, see it carefully. And now tell me the output. So Chris is saying true. What about others? False, true, true. Okay, let's see the output. So the output is going to be true. Why true? Very simple. See, first of all, in this complete expression, forget about this OR and this AND operation. First of all, as per the BODMAS rules, the innermost brackets will get executed, isn't it? The innermost bracket expression will get executed. So the first expression will give you true. Second expression, j less than I, it will give you false. I not equal to j, this is a true statement, it will give you true. This will be the thing. Now this OR and AND operator will get executed. Now again, as I've told you, these conditional operators are binary operator. Again, it will work on two operands at a time. and the precedence order both for AND operator and the OR operator are same. It's not that the AND operator will get first executed and then the OR operator. No, both have same precedence order. Order of precedence is same. So then the order execution of the execution here will happen from left to right. So first of all, this expression will be evaluated, true or false. What will be the output of this? True or false will give you true. And then you will check true and true. Ultimately, you will get true only. So that's why the output is like this. Clear? Conditional operator is clear to everyone? Yeah? Great. So this is very simple. Now, one more thing I want to cover today. How to compare strings in C#. Okay, how to compare strings in C#. This is very important interview question which we will discuss. So let's say I have string S1 is equal to, let's say, V2 automation. Okay, I have one more string S2 is equal to V2 automation. Okay, now I'm checking. I'll say, okay, shall I tell you the shortcut for writing this console.writeLine? Okay, you can Google the shortcuts for Visual Studio. You will get it online. But I'll tell you for console.writeLine, just write CW and press the tab button twice. Okay, I will repeat it again. Just write CW and press the tab button twice. So this console.writeLine will be there. Now I'm checking here if S1 is equal to S2. Can you tell me what will be the output here? Line number 16. What will be the output of line number 16? What will be the output of line number 16? True or false? True or false? True. Can't compare. Okay, Sada is saying can't compare two strings. Is it like we cannot compare two strings, or we should not compare two strings using double equal to? Okay, let's see the output now and then we'll discuss. So see, the output is true here, isn't it? Okay, the output is coming as true. The output is coming as true. Why true is coming? Tell me. Okay, anyone wants to say something?
No, it's both are same, S1, S2, that's why true.
Both are same, like the strings are exactly same. Okay, one more thing I'll do. String S3 is equal to new string, and in the constructor I'll pass the same string. Okay, and I'll say S1 equal to S3. Now tell me the output of line number 18. What will be the output of line number 18? Sorry. What will be the output of line number 18? True or false? Okay, location compared, memory location compared, value of both strings are same, data type mismatch. Let's see the output. Again, true. And why this is happening? Okay. Now let me change the string for S2. Let's say this time the way to automation starts with capital W. Okay, capital W. Now let's say, now this time, why false is coming in line number 17? Why here false is coming? Because point number one, C# is a case sensitive programming language. Okay. So if for S1, the way to automation is starting with capital W. For S2, the way to automation is starting with, sorry, for S1, the way to automation is starting with small w. In case of S2, the way to automation is starting with capital W. Because the strings are different in line number 17, you are getting false because C# is a case sensitive programming language. And for line number 18, we are getting true. Now, it might be possible that many of you might have read about, like you must have worked on Java, isn't it? Isn't it? In Java, the line number 18, if you try to replicate this in Java, in line number 18, you will get false. You know? So that's why the confusion is coming. That's why the confusion is coming. Okay. But here in C#, there is no false. It's coming as true. Now in Java, there is a concept of string constant pool. String constant pool. Okay. String constant pool. In C#, the memory management happens in a different way for a string. So till the point I talk about the memory allocation for a string in C#, I'll be covering that in coming class because it is a lengthier session. So I'll not cover that in detail today, but for now, just remember one thing. Whenever you are trying to check or whenever you're trying to compare the string, two different strings, okay, not the memory location, not the address of the object, you are trying to compare the content available within the string object, means the actual strings you want to compare, then for now do not use equal to. Now for now it seems to be that it's giving me the correct answer. But there are few important things that we should know about equal to when we are using equal to with strings. So till the point I compare memory allocation for string in C#. In case if you want to compare two strings, instead of using equal to, there is a equals method that you should prefer. Okay, there are some reasons. I'll talk about those reasons in coming classes, but till the point I cover those concepts. Whenever you need to compare two strings, just use the equals method, equals function. Now, how can we do that? It's very simple. That is very simple. I'll show you. Okay. So if you want to compare, let's say you want to compare S1 with S2. So instead of saying S1 equal to S2, better is to say S1 dot equals S2. Is that clear? Is that clear? Now, if I mouse over here, what it says, just read about the description here. It says determines whether this instance and other specified strings object have same what? Just a minute. Just see the description here. It says determines whether this instance and another specified string object have same value, which means it tries to compare the value available within S1 variable with the value available within the S2 variable. So now here the string comparison happening. Now tell me what will be the output? What will be the output now? In this case, true or false? True or false, guys? Quickly, please. It will be false only. False only. Why? Because the strings are different. So I'll run this program. So you can see the third statement that is coming in the output is false because your strings are different. If I make the print save, this time you are going to get true only. You are getting true. So just bear with this till the point we cover the memory allocation of string in C# and the difference between equal to and dot equals method in context of a string. Till that point, whenever you want to compare the value of two strings, always use dot equals function. Now equals function is available within the string class. Is that clear? Any doubt? Any doubt? Okay. Krish is saying, can we ignore case sensitive and space? No. Everything is a character. Like space is also considered as anything that is within the double quotes is a part of that string. So you cannot ignore it. It's a case sensitive programming language. You cannot override that concept. Clear, Krish? Okay. Harmeet is asking, in one of the string is null, we will get error on comparison. Good question. Just check that example. Okay. So let's say I have one more string. I'll say string S4. Now, you're trying to say it does not have any value, right? And you are trying to compare it. So I'll say S1 dot equals S4. Now here you are getting error, Harmeet. Why you are getting error? Because S4 is a local variable. Local variable means I have not covered the different type of variables, but any variable which is created within a function is a local variable. Now this S4 variable is created within this main function, so it's a local variable to this function. Remember one thing, without initializing value you cannot use a local variable. Is that clear? Before using any local variable, before accessing a local variable, you must initialize it. Otherwise, you'll not be able to use it. Like if I mouse over, it says use of unassigned local variable S4. You're getting compile time error. It's simply saying compiler saying, look, buddy, you have not assigned anything. What should I do? I cannot, process this line number 22. So one thing you all should, remember is without initializing a local variable, you will not be able to access or use it. Is that clear? Clear? One more option is there, like it's an empty string. Like right now it's an empty string. Okay, it's not null, it's empty string. So now you are not getting any error. Now can you tell me what will be the output at line number 22? It will be false because S4 is different, S1 is different. Okay, clear? Great.
So
Okay.
can we convert like that upper cases into lower cases, and after that we can compare, right? In the Java which we are doing.
Now it depends upon the requirement. Okay, let's say there is a requirement that it does not matter what case the letter is available, like whether that particular string or whether that particular letter is in caps or small letter, that does not matter. In that case, what you can do, first, either you can convert that to lowercase or you can convert that to uppercase, and then you can compare. But again, it's very requirement basis. Okay. Like, let's say right now, you can simply say S1 dot to lower. Okay. So what it will do, returns a copy of this string converted to lowercase, or you can say upper. So it will to upper. So it will convert it to uppercases. All the characters available inside that string will be converted to uppercase, and then you can compare. It depends upon the requirement. Okay. Clear? Yeah. One more very rarely used but very good operators there, which if you are good at, you can use that at multiple cases, which is ternary operator. Okay, ternary operator. Ternary operator. Any idea about ternary operator? Any idea about ternary operator? Yeah. What's that syntax? What is that ternary operator? Ternary operator means question mark and colon, isn't it? Okay. I'll show you one example. I'll show you one example and then we'll discuss the ternary operator in detail. Okay. Let's say I'll copy these two variables. Let's say I have two variables I and j. Okay. Now I am saying I less than j question mark. Okay. I'll print I is less than j. Else I'll print I is greater than j. Now, first of all, just look at the output. Don't get confused. Okay. First, check the output and then we'll discuss how ternary operator works. So I'll run it. So what's the output you are getting? What's the output you are getting? You are getting I is less than j. First of all, I'll tell you one thing. Ternary operator is a shorthand to if else. Okay. Ternary operator is a shorthand to if else. Instead of using if else, you can use ternary operator as well. It works in the same manner. Like in if else, what happens in the if you put a condition, if the condition is true, the if body will be executed. If the condition is false, else body will be executed. Yes or no? That's how if else works, isn't it? Do you guys agree with me? In case of if else, if the condition of if is true, the if body will be executed. Else, if the condition is false, the else body will be executed. In the similar manner, in ternary operator also, the same thing happens. How? Let me tell you. The ternary operator contains two things, question mark and a colon. Question mark and a colon. I'll tell you again. Ternary operator contains question mark and a colon. Before the question mark, you will have to provide a condition. Okay. Before the question mark, you will have to provide a condition. Okay. If this condition is true, whatever you write before this colon will be executed. Will execute if condition true. Okay. If this condition is true, whatever statement you write just before the colon, just before this colon, it will get executed. But if this condition is false, whatever you write after the colon will get executed. Will execute if condition false. Is that clear? Is that clear? Simple. It's exactly like if else. Just that the syntax is different, right? The way of writing the thing is different, but the behavior is the same thing. So if you want to use if else, you can use if else. If you want to use ternary operator, you can use ternary operator because it reduces the number of line of code. That's it. Now, Krish, if you have nested if else, then the ternary operator, like it will be very confusing. I can do that, but it will be very confusing. So if you have multiple conditions, like you have nested if else kind of scenario, then go with if else only. Don't go with ternary operator. It will be very confusing. I will show you the example, but I don't recommend it. Okay. Now coming back to this. Okay. Let me do one thing. Let's say I have two variables, A, B, and I have one more variable, let's say C, whose value is 30. Now your job is to find out which of these numbers are the biggest number. whether A is the biggest, B is the biggest, or C is the biggest. This is what you need to do. Okay. Now you can do this using if else, yes or no? Easily. We can do this using if else. Let us try to attempt it with if else first, and then we'll come to the ternary operator. Instead of directly going with ternary, better is to try to solve this problem with if else. So how can we do that? Very simple. I'll say if A is greater than B, I'll do something. Okay. Else, if, okay, I will come to that. Now, if A is greater than B, what next you will check? Again, within if, again you will say if A is greater than C, then I will say A is the biggest, isn't it? Else, I will say what? C is the biggest, yes or no? Yes or no, guys? Yeah. If A is not greater than B, then what I'll do? I'll say else if B is greater than C. What will you do? What will you do? You will simply write B is the biggest, isn't it? Else, I will say C is the biggest. Is this a correct code that I have written? What do you say? Is this a correct code?
Yes, and also we can put the condition B using the AND operator A and B and like that.
We can do that. We can use conditional operators. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, now let me try to run it. What output you're getting? C is the biggest. Okay, now let me make B biggest and see what is the output. I'll run it again. Now you are getting B is the biggest. If I make A the biggest, then let's see what's the output. You're getting A is the biggest. That's fine. If I want to solve the same problem using ternary operator, is that possible? Of course, that is possible. That is possible, but it will create confusion and I will show you. Okay, so let me comment out this code, and what I'll do, I'll try to solve this problem using ternary operator. Okay, so I'll say CW. Okay, I'll check if A is greater than B. Question mark colon. This is first condition. If A is greater than B, again I will check if A is greater than C, isn't it? Okay, now tell me one thing. If A greater than B gives you true, the execution will come left to the colon or right to the colon? If this condition A greater than B is true, the execution will come to the left to the colon or right? Left. Okay, so again I'll put one more condition. Again I'll put one more condition. A is greater than C. Now if again, as I've told you, it will create confusion. So that's what it is going to happen. Okay. Now I'll put some, yeah. If A is greater than B, I will check if A is greater than C. If it's true, I'll simply print A is the biggest. Else I will print C is the biggest. Fine. Okay. Now, if this condition A greater than B gives you false, then the right side of this colon will be executed. And in that case, again, I will check one more thing. If B greater than C, question mark colon. If that is true, I'll simply print B is the biggest. Else I will say C is the biggest. Now the things are looking very confusing, isn't it? Yes or no? So do you agree with my statement now that if you have nested if else kind of scenario, don't go with ternary. Let me check the output first. So you're getting A is the biggest. Let me reduce the value. Now you should get B is the biggest output. Perfectly fine. The code is working fine. It's just that it creates confusion. So why to go with ternary operator if it creates confusion? Okay. Use a concept if and only if there is no other option. And if there is another option available, if you are comfortable with that other option, go with that. There is no harm in that. Clear? Make sense? Okay. So that being said, I'll now move to the next topic, which is, okay, I'll copy this whole code. Okay, fine. Now we'll talk about if else, for loop, while loop. Okay, we'll talk about loops now. Clear? If else is there, switch is there, for loop is there, while loop is there, do while loop is there, break, continue. There are n number of things available. So we'll go one by one very quickly because these are all very basic things. Okay. So one example of if else also, let's say I'll say int I is equal to, let's say 11. So I'll say if I mod 2 equal to 0, I'll print I is a even number, else I would say I is an odd number. Is that clear? This is very basic. I'll run this code. I'm getting I is an odd or not of odd number. I is an odd number. If I change it to some other value, let's say 10, I'm getting I is an even number. So very basic thing. Okay, Vipin is saying, can you separate class for each? Yeah, that I can do. Okay, that is better option. So I'll copy this code. I'll say if else example. Okay, and I will, what app domain? Just copy this syntax. Okay. What was the code? I'll write it quickly. Something like this. It was, I'll say if I mod 2 equal to 0, I'll write, I'll say I is an even number, else I'll say I is an odd. Okay, I'll save this and I will try to run this. Okay, so if I run this, okay, so you are getting an error. It says program has more than one entry point defined, compile with main or specify the type that contains the entry point. Okay, so this is one of the thing that you should know about C Sharp. Like in Java, in one project you can have n number of class, and all those class can have main function or main method, isn't it? Like when you create a Java project, in that Java project you can have n number of classes, and all those classes can contain main method. That's, absolutely cool, no problem in that. But in case of C Sharp, because if you remember, when we were creating the project, we created a console project. Just go through the first, second lecture. When I was creating the project, I created a console project, C Sharp console project. Now, when you are creating a console project, you can have only one main function in the whole project. Means one entry point. You cannot have more than one entry point. One entry point means main function. That is not possible. If you want to do so, like you want to have multiple classes and you want to have all those classes containing main function, that is fine. Writing or having main function in all those classes are fine. But when you will try to run the class, and if there is more than one function in that, more than one main function in that project, this error, compile time error, you will get. You're getting this error saying program has more than one entry point, compile with main to specify the type. So basically you're getting error. So what is the solution for this is, I'll tell you. So preferences, build. I'm also confused. Let me tell you, where is that option? Okay, this will not work. Edit, project, build, run, new function. There is somewhere where you get the application kind of. Edit file, new solution, preferences, services. Preferences only, I should get something. Project, build, SDK, control. Okay, just bear with me. Don't worry about it. It will work. We can define the class type that you want to run. There are some options available, but where exactly? Right click on the solution and add. You are saying that I know, okay. Right click on solution and add. Where solution is there? Okay, don't worry, I'll find it. Somewhere it should be. New project, existing solution folder. Version analyze, reveal, run solution. No, so this will not work. So open with console control, build action, click property. There was something. Okay, I'll Google it. There is no harm in that. So I'll say multiple main function. Okay, So go to project properties. Okay, project. Do you see properties? Add preferences. No. Project active configuration. Application tab. Startup object. So it's not working. Properties, properties, properties. Okay.
C sharp, yeah.
Do we see properties anywhere?
There is a add option. Can you click that?
The add option will not have properties.
Okay.
So display option. Sometimes it does take some time. Something will take the time. Okay. That is not working. Go to project properties. This is not working. Basically, we are using Windows Studio, Visual Studio on Mac, so that can be one of the limitation. And we will try to custom configuration, start project, tree arguments.
This is the solution explorer on the left hand side.
Yeah, it's solution. So this is the solution. Build C# learning. We're getting option. Let me just a minute. Solution. Okay, let me close that. Compile. Yes.
Getting that option.
Solution folder. No, that's not it. Is the option we should get location of files? Sample. Code formatting, C# code, text file, standard, version control, commit.
I haven't seen, like, there is only one entry point. If you are adding multiple class files, then there is only one main this void main string. It's entry point, right? So either we have to call this as a function or
That is possible. That I know. Like we can call that by creating the object. We can do that. I just wanted to show you that option. Like in when we try to do that in window, we get the option. But
because I haven't used this one multiple main entry.
okay, so I'll work on that. Instead of waiting for that, what I'll do is in program.cs, I'll comment out all the code. Okay, what I'll do is I'll okay, I'll create a function here. Instead of having main, I'll say public void, I'll say print odd even. Okay. So I'll run this program. A, B does
Line
not.
number 36, you have to comment.
Yeah. Yes, yes, yes. So this is working fine. I is a even number, and if I change the value, you will get different value. So that is fine. For that particular, like in Windows, if you guys are using Windows, right? You right click on your solution, you will see properties option. Okay. In for Mac, I'll try to do some R&D more. I'll come with the solution in next class. That's fine. We can just use this option, like by calling the function, that will also work. Okay, so that will be one action item on me. Fine. So this is simple if else example. I'll take one more example. Let's say if else if we have already used, so that is not a point to discuss right now. One question I have with you guys: can I use if without having else? Is that possible? Can I use if without having else? Yes, that is possible. Can I use only else without having an if? Is that possible? Like there is no if available, only I'm using else. So that is very important. Else will always be preceded by an if. Otherwise, you will get error. Like I'll show you. If I remove this if, I'll get a compiled error. I'm getting an error. Okay, I'm getting an error. Else cannot start a statement. Okay, else cannot start a statement. Clear? So you cannot use else alone. Else can be used only if there is a if before that. And before, like in between if and else, there should not be any code. Otherwise, again, you will get error. Like if I try to say CW and some statement, again, I will get the same error. Because this else is not in continuation of this if. So these are different statements. So that is not possible. So make sure that you cannot use else without having an if. You can just use one else, that one if, that is possible. Like without having else, you are just having if, that is also possible. This will work fine. And in fact, mostly you will using if only. Okay, mostly. But this has to be very clear with all of us. Okay, you should remember this. Now, next thing that I want to do is to cover about switch case. Switch case. Okay. Syntax of switch case. So what I'll do, I'll create scanner class input available in C#. Okay, don't deviate your mind first of all. Second, I'll cover these things. Taking input at runtime, those things will be covered. Okay, Vipin, don't worry about that. Okay, we will cover those things. Yeah, we'll go step by step. Don't worry. Okay, next thing that I want to do is I'll create one more file. I'll say switch case example. Okay, constructor I don't need. I'll create a function. I'll say public void switch case. Fine. First, I'll tell you the syntax and then we'll take one good example. Remember one thing, if else and switch case have same function. Okay, before that, let me show you the syntax of switch case. Okay, syntax of switch case. Let's say I have a variable, let's say I have a variable int I is equal to 10. Okay, I'm writing a switch. Some I and then some case I will write switch case 10. If it is, I'll say let's say it is 10. Let's say I have one more case 20. Okay, and I'll say CW, it is 20. Just taking one example. Now we are getting some error. I'll have to write a break here. I'll say break and here a break. Now the error is coming. What is the error coming? Okay, so these are the different syntax. Like what I'm trying to say is something like this. These are different statements. Okay, now understand it. Is it mandatory to write a break statement? Is that mandatory to write a break statement in C#? Yes, you'll have to write it. Okay, you'll have to write it. Like in Java, it is optional, but in that case, if you remember in Java, all the cases will be executed if there are no breaks available. But in C#, you should write the break as well to end the particular case. To end that particular case, you should write a break statement. Clear? Okay. Now, how does it work? Like I'll write one more case. Let's say case 30 : I'll say it is 30. Okay, and then I'll say break. Now, how exactly default is there in switch case? Yes, default is also there. Let me write default as well. So I'll say default : and I'll say it is not matching, something like this, and then break. Now understand it. It is almost similar to if else only. Switch case is similar to if else. Okay, it has some differences. Now, how does it will work here? Now you have a variable I which has some values. Now that variable you are passing here. So basically, what type of value you are passing to switch here? What type of value are you passing to switch here? Int type of value. So because you are passing a int type value to switch, case should also must contain int type of value. Like after case, It does not matter how many cases you are writing down. Those cases must contain int value only. Like I cannot write here 10.5. That is not possible. It is not matching. It says cannot implicitly convert double to int, because in switch you are passing int, then with case also, with all the cases you are writing, whether you're writing one case, two case, three case, or n number of different cases, all those cases must contain a int value only. Now, when this execution will happen, first of all, I variable will get created, that will be passed to switch. Now, what is the value of I here? The value of I right now is 10. So immediately the case which is having value matching to this, that particular case will get executed. Let me rephrase the statement. Right now you are passing I to this switch. Now current value of I is 10. In that case, which among all these cases and default statement, which case will get executed depends upon the case which is having this particular value. That case will get executed. Okay, the case which has this particular value, that case will automatically get executed. And once that particular case is executed, the switch case will end. The execution will come outside the switch. Right now, this particular case, this case has the matching value, isn't it? This case has the matching value, isn't it? So this case will get executed. It is 10 will get printed, then break will get executed. As soon as break will get executed, the execution will come outside to the switch body, and that's it. So if I call this function in the program.cs, because we don't have multiple main function right now, we have only one main function. So what I'll do, I'll comment out this code. I'll create object for switch case example. And I'll say obj dot switch case. If I run this program, you are getting it is 10. It is 10. Now let me change this to 30 or 20, let's say. Now which case will get executed? This case has the matching value, isn't it? This case, which is available in line number 16, this case is matching with the value of current value of I, yes or no? Tell me yes or no.
Yes, yeah.
So this time, the second case, this particular case will get executed. It is 20 will get printed, and then the execution will stop. So I'll show you again. So it is 20 getting printed. Simple. Okay. Now Krish is asking, can you please give me example when if else will use and when switch will be used in real time. Okay, the execution of switch is faster as compared to if else, but there are certain situations where you cannot use switch case. You can use if else, but you cannot use switch case. Okay, I'll show you the example now. I will come back to this if else example class. I will comment out this code. Okay, and I will provide you one problem statement. What is the problem statement? I will provide you one value. Let's say you have a value int value, or I'll say int size equal to, let's say, 10. Okay. Now I have a problem statement for you. If size is less than 10, print small. Okay. Print small. Print small. If size is, or I'll say greater than equal to 10. Okay. Sorry, less than equal to 10. If size is greater than 10 and size is less than, let's say, 50, less than equal to 50, then print medium. Okay. If size is greater than 50, print, in that case, print large. The problem statement is clear to everyone? First of all, tell me. The problem statement is clear to everyone? Yeah? Now, can you solve this problem using if else? Can you solve this problem with if else? Can we solve this with if else? Tell me. Yes? Yeah? Okay, I will give you 2 minutes. Just try to write down the code and ping me in the chat. I'll give you 2 minutes. Okay, take 2 minutes. Anybody is able to solve this? No one?
But I think all the condition is come under 10 to greater than 50.
How? Okay, I will write down the code now using if else. I'll say if I is less than equal to 10. What should I print? What should I print?
Small.
Small.
Isn't it? So a small should get printed. The thing is size, not I. Okay. What's the second condition? If the value lies within 10 to 50, then only I should print medium. If the value of size is less than 10, or if the value of size is greater than 50, I should not print medium. Medium, the size will be medium only if the value is within 10 to 50, including, not including 10, but including 50. So I'll write one more else. If size is greater than 10,
And
I have written and here, not or. And size is less than equal, no, not and, it should be or, right? And mein to nothing will be there. 50. Then what should I print? Medium.
yeah,
Now let's say if this value of size is, let's say 60. Just assume whatever code we have written till now, let's say the size value is 60. So this condition will be false, right?
yeah,
Yeah. This condition, size is greater than 10, that will be true. Yes or no?
yes.
And size less than equal to 50, this will be false. But you are using or operator, then this statement, then everything that is bigger than 10 will come inside this if else. But that is a wrong thing, isn't it? So what we'll have to do, instead of or, we should use and now. That will make a better, like that will be the correct logic. Why? Because as per the problem statement, only if the value is within 10 to 50, then only you should print median.
Yes.
Yeah. Else
Print large.
you can simply say print large. And if you want to make sure, then there is no point of adding the condition again with else. Now if I run this program now, I will call this code in program.cs. Okay. I will run this code. You are getting large right now. If I change the value to, let's say, 45, what should get printed now? Medium should get printed. Medium is getting printed. If I make the value to 4, small should get printed. So if I run this code now, small is getting printed. If I make this value, what happened? Just a minute. What is happening? Why this got hang? Oh God, what happened? Why this is not going? Okay. I'll quit it. Fine.
Is that saved?
Yeah, it will be. Don't worry. It was saved.
So can we write like the same logic without using the and? Like if I put size greater than 10 as first and size greater than 50, other than both the conditions, then it would be medium.
Sorry, what you're saying?
Without writing the and condition, if I write size less than equal to 10, else if size greater than 50, else we will print the medium.
It depends upon you how you want to perform that. What is the solution? It depends upon, like, everybody can have different solution. The output should be correct.
Okay.
Okay. Now, if I make the value of size as, let's say, 100, again large should be printed. Okay. So I'll run this program. Large is getting printed. Now here is my question. Arey yaar, why this is happening? Am I doing something wrong here? Every day has a new challenge. That's fine. I'm using Visual Studio first time in Mac. That's why I'm getting these issues. Okay. Fine. Now here is my thing to you. Can you solve this problem using switch case? Tell me. Can you solve this problem using switch case? Can you solve this using switch case? Krish is saying yes.
No. No, because greater than 50, we don't know what it will be.
Right.
Maybe
Exactly.
60.
Greater than 50 is infinite, isn't it? How many cases will you write? Because in case of switch case, exactly the case should match with the value that you have provided in the switch. What I'm trying to say, like the respective, a particular case will execute only when the value is matching to the value passed within the switch. But here the range can be infinite, isn't it? Too many cases. Is that practically feasible to write infinite number of ranges? Okay, Harmeet has a good suggestion. Harmeet is saying default can be used for greater than 50. Yes. Yes or no? Okay. It can be one of the solution. It can be one of the solution, but it's still, you'll have to write 50 cases and one default statement, isn't it? Isn't it, Harmeet? Yes or no? Yes. Now tell me, will you do that? When you can do that in 3-4 line of code, will you go for that? Is that, better option? Are you guys understanding what I'm trying to say? You can use default statement, that's fine. If none of the case, let's say 50 cases you have written, none of the case matched, default will get executed, large will get printed, fine. But still, will you write 50 cases? We'd never do that. Okay, that PR will never be approved. Okay, so that's why when the number of cases are limited, go for switch case, because switch case is much faster as compared to if else. Because in case of if else, let's say you have written 10 if else statement, every if else will be executed until a particular if or else get executed, every condition will be evaluated. Like in this case, for an example, let's say first condition is false, then the second case condition will be evaluated. If the second if condition is false, then the third else block will be executed. But in case of switch case, exactly that particular case will get executed automatically, which is matching to the switch value. Is that clear? So the execution time wise, switch case is faster, provided the range should not be more. Okay, 5, 6, cases, 10 cases at max, fine. When the range increases, when you're playing with range, don't go for switch case. Clear? Guys, is that clear?
Yeah.
This is our third C# class, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Next that I want to cover is for loop. Very simple. For loop example. Okay. Can you tell me the syntax for loop? Anyone? Can anyone tell me the syntax for loop? This is fourth class, but first class was just introduction. Yeah. It's very simple. The syntax is something like this. Something like this. Okay. Int I is equal to I, semicolon I less than equal to 10, I plus plus, and then some body. Let's say I want to print the value of I. Okay. I'll run it. I cannot, I'll have to call this in the program.cs. So I'll create one more object. I'll say for example, and then I'll say obj dot for not equals for. I'll run this program. You can see 1 to 10 is getting printed. Clear? From 1 to 10 getting printed. This is very simple. Everybody knows about this, isn't it? Anybody have any doubt? Okay. That being said, can you tell me within this syntax, what is this? What is the purpose of this? What is the purpose of this statement and what is the purpose of this statement? Very quickly, can you tell me?
First one is initialization, second one is condition, and third one is increment or decrement.
What is the purpose of loop? Why do we use loop?
To perform multiple time.
To execute same statement multiple times, isn't it?
Yep.
To execute same statements, same set of statements multiple times based on some conditions, isn't it?
Yeah.
And There has to be a condition, otherwise the loop will get converted into an infinite loop. Yes or no? If let's say the condition is not there or the condition is always true, your loop will get converted into infinite loop. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
So that's why all these three statements are important. This first statement tells you, like, here you always do initialization. The first statement within this for is used for initialization, and this will get executed only once. In the first iteration, when the very first iteration is starting for the for loop, this initialization part will get executed only once. That's it. Let's say if your for loop is executing 10 times, how many times this initialization part will get executed? How many times? Only one. Only one.
Yeah, only one. First time.
Otherwise, if every time it will get executed, again the value will be changed to 1 and 1, and every time it will be infinite loop then, isn't it? So if it depends, like it does not matter how many times the for loop will execute, the initialization part will execute only once, and that will in the very first iteration. How many times condition will be evaluated? In every iteration. In every iteration, the condition will be evaluated, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. And then this increment or decrement, whatever you do, that will happen. But can you tell me when exactly this particular part will get executed? Just after the condition is evaluated?
Yes.
Listen to my words very carefully. Will this increment or whatever you have written here, will that get executed immediately after the condition is evaluated?
No, if condition is failed, it will be not executed, I guess.
If condition is true, then what will happen? Okay, I'll rephrase my statement. Let's say the execution is starting. Let's say the statement is getting, let's say the execution of this for loop is starting. First of all, what will happen? This initialization will happen, isn't it? Yes?
Yes.
So initially in the first iteration, the value of I will be 1. Then what will happen? Condition evaluation will happen. What will be
Yes.
the condition in first iteration? 1 less than equal to 10, isn't it? What will be the output of this condition in the first iteration?
True.
It will be true. So remember, the for loop will execute only if the condition is true. If the condition is false, the for loop will get terminated then and there only. But because in the first iteration, the condition is true, the execution will happen. Now, once this condition is evaluated, what is the next thing that will happen? No increment. First, the body of the for loop will get executed. Okay. After condition evaluation, the body of the for loop will get executed. So first of all, initialization will happen. Then condition evaluation will happen. If the condition is true, then the body execution of the for loop will happen. Now in the body, you have only one statement, which is to print the value of I. So what will get printed? 1. And once the body execution is done, now there is nothing left in the for body, then this part will get executed. And the value of I will get incremented and the value will get changed to 2. Then again condition check will happen. This time the condition will be 2 less than equal to 10. Again the condition is going to give you true. Because the condition is true, body execution will happen, and this time what will get printed? 2. Then this increment will happen. I will change to 3. Condition will be like 3 less than equal to 10. Again true, body execution will happen, 3 will get printed, and so on. Once let's say the value of I is 10. The condition will be checked like 10 is less than equal to 10. It will be true. 10 will get printed. Now once 10 is printed, again the increment will happen. Once the increment will happen again, the value of I will become 11. This time the condition will be like 11 less than equal to 10. And because this is not a true statement, you will get a false. And as soon as the false will be there, the body will be, the for loop will get terminated. That's it. Clear? Simple. If I run it again, you can see 1 to 10 getting printed. Clear, guys?
Yes.
If I change the statement condition, now now tell me what will be the output. I have changed the condition now. Can you tell me the output? Now this time the execution will happen 1 to 9. Isn't it? Let me run it. This time only till 9 is getting printed. So whatever you provide in the condition, based on that, the output will be there. So make sure when you are putting the condition, it should be as per the requirement, and you should be very careful while writing the loops, because if you are not careful, infinite loop will be there. Okay, now tell me, can you tell me what will be the output of this condition? If I run this class now, if I run this for loop now, what will be the output now? Tell me. It will be infinite loop from 1 to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, something like that. Or 1, 0, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, and so on, isn't it? Yes, it will go into negative values up till infinite, and this loop will never break. This loop will never break. Why? Because I put the condition as per my requirement. My requirement was that I should print from 1 to 10. So my initialization part is correct. My condition part is correct. But my increment or decrement, whatever I'm writing here, this thing is not correct, isn't it? Clear? So everything that you write in a loop, you should be very careful. Clear, guys? Simple? Okay. Next class I will take, like, can I write the for while loop example here? I'll write the while loop example here. I'll create one more function. I'll say while loop. Okay. Again, same example. I'll say int I is equal to 1 while I is less than equal to 10. What should I do? I should print, sorry, I. That's it. Okay. Now, if I run this, if I run this function, what will be the output? If I run this function, while loop function, what will be the output? What will be the output? Infinite? This loop will run infinite times, isn't it? This will definitely run infinite time, isn't it? Why? What is the thing that I'm missing here? Initialization is there. Now there is a syntax difference between for and while. There is a difference in the syntax while writing the for loop and a while loop. In for loop, you write the initialization condition and increment, decrement, whatever you want to do within the for only. But in while loop, you provide only condition. In case of while loop, you only provide the condition, isn't it? You only provide the condition. Initialization has to be before we are writing the while loop. And the increment, decrement, whatever you want to do, it has to be within the while loop only. And we are not incrementing the value of I. And because we are not incrementing the value of I anywhere, this I will remain 1 only. And every time it will be 1, every time the condition will be true, every time you will be printing 1 and 1 and 1, so on. So what we'll have to do is we'll have to add this statement as well. Is that clear? Syntax is clear? Yes?
Yeah.
Yeah. If
Yes.
I run this code, now instead of calling for loop, I will call this time the another function, which is while loop function. and I will run this program. And you can see from 1 to 10 getting printed. The output is same. The only difference is the way of writing is different. The syntax is different. Okay. Now the question is that if the functionality is same, then when to use for and when to use while loop. Okay. Sorry guys. When to use while and when to use for loop. Can anyone tell me an answer for this? Can anyone suggest what is the
For loop,
answer?
we use when we know when to start the loop and when to stop, means initial condition and terminate when stop condition. Now I loop when we use when we don't have any conditions.
Without condition, how can you write a while loop?
Without condition in the sense means like a specification is like just like in for loop we mention initial and exit condition. In while loop is only for execution of a particular condition. Just like here we have mentioned while I is less than equal to 10.
So this is an exit criteria, right? My loop should break when the value of I is greater than 10. That is my exit criteria. Here also in for loop also I have written the same condition. Okay, I understood, you are almost there. Understand it very carefully. When you know how many iteration you want to perform beforehand, then you should go for loop. I'll repeat my statement again. Whenever you know beforehand, whenever you know that how many iteration I want to perform, you should go for loop. When beforehand you don't have any idea how many iteration will happen in that particular loop, I'm not sure about the number of iteration. I know the entry criteria, initialization, I know the condition, but I don't know exactly how many iteration will happen. Then you should go for while loop. Again, confusion is happening. I'll tell you exactly the example. Although I'm not going to take, I will not write the code, but I will tell you one example. Let's say there is a text file. Okay, there is a text file. You want to read and print all the lines of that text file. There is a txt file available. Somebody else provide you that txt file. Some third party vendor provides you that txt file. Your job is to read that file, read line by line, and print it onto the console. But you don't have any idea how many number of lines are there in a text file, in that particular text file. You don't know about that. You know that till you are getting some text, you should print it. Whenever you have a empty line which does not have anything, you should not go ahead and you should break the loop. But how many number of lines are there in that particular text file, you don't know. Then tell me which loop you will use. Now how we can do that, how can we handle it, we'll talk about that later. I'll try to cover that example. But can you tell me which loop will you use here, for or while? While loop will be useful here. Now this might not be very relevant for now, but when I will cover the framework designing Selenium, and when I will show you the handling of text file or Excel file or CSV file, there you will understand the benefit of while loop. So till that point, do one thing. Krish is saying we will get for loop output from for loop as well. I will show you the example. Don't worry about that. I will show you. Okay, I will show you. Okay. For now, whenever you are trying to practice loop, okay, whenever you are trying to use loop, you can use any of the loop. You can use for, you can use while. Better is to practice both of the loops. Okay, clear? Any question, please ask. Please ask if you have any doubt. Okay, no questions. Sada Reddy is asking, can you tell when to use for each loop? We will cover for each loop during arrays. Okay, that will be a pending action to me. I will cover the for each loop in arrays when I will cover arrays, because the functionality or the syntax is completely different. The syntax of for and syntax of for each is very different. So what I will do is, when I will cover array concept, there I will use for each loop. And you should be comfortable with for each, because that is a great thing that we have. It is a very useful loop. In arrays, in collections, for each loop is very useful. So don't worry about that, we'll cover it. Okay, clear? Yeah, I will be the instructor for Selenium as well. The whole course will be taken care by me only. Okay, don't worry. Cool. There is one more loop available, do while loop. I'll create a separate class for do while loop. Do while loop. I'll create a function public void do while loop. First of all, I'll tell you the syntax. Syntax is very simple. You write a keyword do, then you write a curly braces, and at the end of the curly braces, you write a while, and you write a condition and semicolon. This is the syntax. It is almost similar to a while, but then there is a difference also. I'll show you. Let's say there is a variable int I which is having a value, let's say 1. Okay. I'm putting in a condition. I'll say while I is less than equal to 10, in the body, I should print it. Print the value of I. Sorry. And I will say I++. Clear? Okay. First of all, understand the flow of execution, how execution happens. Just a minute. Sorry guys, yeah. So I'll tell you the flow, how execution happens. First of all, when this code will get executed, this class will get executed. First of all, this variable will get created with a value 1, then do. Now, after do, is there any condition? After do, is there any condition? No, which means in the very first iteration in a do while loop, just a minute, guys, I'm getting a call. Yeah. So I was telling that in the very first iteration of a do while loop, the condition will never be checked. First iteration will happen without condition eval checking. That is the only difference between a do while and a while loop. In the first iteration, the condition will never be checked. The first iteration will run without any condition check. So what will happen? Without any condition checking, 1 will get printed. And then the value of I will be incremented, which will be changed to 2. And then the condition check will happen, which will be 2 less than equal to 10. And it will give you true. Because the condition is true, again the body execution will happen. What will get printed? This time 2 will get printed. And then value will get incremented to 3. Then the condition check will happen, 3 less than equal to 10, again true, and so on. Let's say the value of I is 11. Acha, first of all, let me try to execute this code. Okay, I will first show you the execution of this code, this particular code. Okay, so I'll create an object here. I'll say, what is the name of that class? Do while loop. Okay, I'll say obj.while loop, do while loop. Okay, So if I run this code, just see the output. Okay, so 1 to 10 is getting printed. Clear? This is clear? This code is clear to everyone. Yes? Yes or no, guys? Feeling hungry? Okay, fine. If I change the value of I to 11, now tell me what will be the output? What will be the output? The output will be 11. Only once this loop will get executed, isn't it? Only 11 is getting printed. And this happened because you are using do while loop. If with this value of I, if instead of using do while, if you would have used while loop, will the execution will happen? With this value of I, if you would use while loop, the execution will never happen. Why? Because in while loop, the condition, the body will of the while loop will get executed, only the condition is checked. But in case of do while loop, in the first iteration, condition check does not happen. That's the only difference. Now, when to use do while, when to use while loop? In my whole professional career, I have never used do while loop. Never. And I'm not sure when I will use it. Okay, during college days when we were creating those, projects to create a kind of what we say menu driven frame, some code menu driven project, we were using do while. But in professional, like in while automation, I have never used do while, but it might be possible that you can use it. Krish is asking, in while loop also it will going to print 11, right? No, not at all. I'll show you. See here. Here the value of I is 11. Will this while loop will get executed? Will this while loop execute? Tell me, Krish. It will check the condition, and in the very first condition check, the condition will be false. So it will never execute. This while loop will never execute, not even once. Understood, Krish? I hope this is clear. Yes. Yeah. So I hope you guys understand. Practically, very rarely you will be using. Sometimes it might be possible that, but it's fine to understand the thing that is available. Clear? Okay. One final thing I want to cover today. There is something known as break and continue. Any idea about this break and continue? Harmit is asking, what about nested for loop? Are they useful? Yes, we will cover for loop in next class, nested for loop during arrays. Okay, I will show you the example when I will be covering 2D array. There I will show you the use of nested for loop, and it will be used very frequently. Nested for loops will be used. Okay. So break exits the loop, continue will not exit, it will continue. Okay. First of all, can I use where can I use a break and where can I use a continue statement? First of all, understand that break. We can use break with loops and in switch case. With switch case. Clear? Clear? It can be used with loops or it can be used with switch case. But continue can be used only within loops. Is that clear? The first difference. Clear? what break does? What break does is, as soon as break will get executed, okay, as soon as break will get executed, it will transfer the execution outside the loop or the switch where it has been used. Read this statement very carefully. It will transfer the execution outside the loop or the switch where it has been used. Is that clear? I'll show you the example. Okay, I'll show you the example. Both with normal loop and nested loops as well. Okay, and it will be clear, more clear in the next class. Where can we use continue? Very simple. So what happens when continue will execute is, as soon as continue will get executed, it will transfer the execution to next iteration. Okay, so the job of continue is to not exit the loop. It just skips the line of code which is below the continue, and it moves the iteration to the it moves the execution to the next iteration. I will show you the example, don't worry. But break will break the loop completely, or it will break the switch. So better is to use or see with some example. So what I'll do, I'll create a class. Name will be break and break versus continue. We'll see some basic examples today, and we'll see some more examples tomorrow in next class. So I'll create a class public void break versus continue. Okay, just see this. Let's say I have a variable I is equal to 1. Okay, for that is not required. Okay, so I'll define it within for loop. For I is equal to 1, I less than equal to 10, I plus plus, print the value of I in our iteration. Now what will be the output of this code if I run it? If I run this code, what will be the output? It will simply print from 1 to 10, isn't it? It will simply print from 1 to 10, isn't it? Yes?
Yeah.
Now there is a condition. As soon as the value of I becomes 5, I don't want to print 5 here. I want to print from 1 to 4 and then 6 to 10. I don't want to print 5. How can I do that? How can I do that? A break will break the state execution. A break will.
If condition we can use inside the for.
Exactly. If else we can use. Krish, how can we use break and continue both? If I use break, I'll show you. Let's say I will check. Every time I will check if I is equal to 5. What should I do? I should break it, isn't it? This is what you are trying to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I run this code, what will be the output? First of all, where am I using break? If I go to my statement, I have said that I can use break with a loop or a switch case, but here I am using a break with if. If is not a loop. If is not a loop. Is if a loop?
No, it's a condition.
It's just a conditional statement.
Yeah.
But this if is inside the loop, yes or no? So ultimately this break is inside the loop. Okay. What is the job of break statement? What it does?
Terminate the execution.
It will transfer the execution outside the loop or switch where it has been used. Or I'll say it will transfer or exit the execution. Better is to say it will, I'll rephrase this. It will exit the loop or the switch where it has been used. So the job of break is not to skip and continue with next iteration. Its job is to break, exit the loop completely. Exit means the execution will come outside the loop. And once the execution has come outside the loop, it will not again go back to the loop. So what will happen in this case? Let us try to do a dry run. If I run it, first of all, when the value of I is 1, this if block will not get executed, 1 will get printed, 2 will get printed, 3 will get printed, 4 will get printed. The moment I becomes 5, this condition of the if will be true and this break will get executed. And what will happen when line number 13, which is break, what will happen when break will get executed? Tell me. What the break
Print
will do?
1 to 4, I guess, yeah, 1 to 4.
What is the printing? That's different thing. I'm asking the moment break will get executed, what will happen? What will happen? The execution will come outside the loop. The break will exit the loop. The execution will come outside the loop. Means it will come to line number 17. That's it. Which means only from 1 to 4 will get printed. Which means the break is not solving your problem. Yes or no? Break is not solving your problem. Yes. So
Yeah.
what should we use here? Yes, instead of break, we should use continue. We should use continue. So what will happen? Okay, before this, I will run this code. Okay, I will run this code. So I'll first create the object of this class. And I will share this complete project with you guys, okay, from today onwards. This is my last example for today. We'll then wrap up the class. Okay, so I'll say obj dot break versus. Okay, let me try to run this code. Just see the output now. Wait. Yeah, 1 to 4 is getting printed. Why? We have already discussed it. Now, if instead of using break, if I use continue, let's see what happens. Now, let me try to run this code again. What is happening? Now, our problem is getting solved, isn't it? 1 to 4 getting printed and then 6 to 10 is getting printed. Okay, clear? Understood the difference between break and continue? What will happen? The moment this continue will execute, like what will happen until I is less than 5, like for I is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, this if block will never get executed because every time this condition will be false. So 1 to 4 will get printed. As soon as I will become 5, this condition will be true. It will come inside the if block, continue will get executed. And the moment continue will get executed, it will transfer the execution from line number 13 to this I++. Clear? Is that clear?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Now Krish is asking if I need skip multiple numbers also. We can do adding and or conditional. Yes, we can do that by adding or operator here. Like let's say I don't want to print 5 and 8. Like 1, 2, 3, 4 I want to print, then 6, 7 I want to print, and then 9 and 10 I want to print. 5 and 8 I don't want to print. So you can just simply add like or condition here. And you can do that. If I run this code, you can see 1 to 4 getting printed, then 6, 7 getting printed, and then 9, 10. Clear? So it's a powerful thing. Break and continue are very, very powerful and very useful. Very, very useful. Very frequently we'll be using continue and break, in automation. So be careful and be clear about the functionalities and the difference. So that's it for today. We'll take few more examples with break and continue. So to next class, not tomorrow, next Saturday, we'll start with array. We will cover array, 2D array, loop, for each loop, break and continue. And then we'll try to cover few more things. Like we'll start with function.
Share this PDF in WhatsApp.
Yeah, I will share it. Yeah, I will share this. Okay. So that's for today. I hope you like the session. We'll meet next Saturday.
In C# also we have the collections kind of concept, right?
Yes, we do have.
Okay.
Okay, we have.
So next Saturday it will be morning or the evening? Classes?
You will get the update, like you will get the timings before Saturday. Like by Thursday, I'll update, but mostly it will be 8 a.m. like in the morning time. From next class, it will be from morning time, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. IST. Okay, guys.
And one last question, can we use TestNG with Caesar?
No, TestNG is a Java library. We cannot.
Any unit
So
use.
what will be the alternative?
Any unit.
Any unit we are going to use. Yeah. Okay. So thank you guys. That's for today. We'll meet next Saturday. Take care. Goodbye.
Thank you. Thanks.
And if you have any doubts, please ping me in the WhatsApp group. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Any question, any doubt, please ping in the WhatsApp group. Okay, guys. Bye.